meine Arbeit für richtig hältst, ob du glaubst, dass ich fleißig gewesen bin, dass ich gearbeitet habe, dass ich mich in diesen Jahren für dich eingesetzt habe.
Adolf Hitler, the face most people in the world would recognize and fear for his disgusting acts. The face of the Nazi Party. The face of Germany. But the man wasn't even German. He was actually born in Austria-Hungary. Although many may think he is a monster today, the man was a legend with his passion for nationalism, which is what made him so honored in Germany. Hitler was the promised man to save Germany from its economic issues and its lack of strong military. He was the man everyone believed would be the key to people being proud of being German in a powerful country.
Adolf Hitler gained his reputation for his strong beliefs about fascism. Germany was in shambles after the Treaty of Versailles was signed in 1919. It was a peace treaty to end the war, but it placed all of the blame on Germany. Not only did Germany lose, they would pay billions in reparations because of the humiliation the Treaty of Versailles put blame for Germany. In their act, Germany lacked supplies, had a collapsed military, and faced economic ruin, leading to the Great Depression later in 1929 and becoming the most shamed country. Adolf Hitler stepped up after the Treaty of Versailles and sought to make changes. Although he wasn't chancellor yet until 1933, he joined the Nazi Party in 1919. He was quickly accepted because he lied and illusioned those a part of the party as a World War I veteran, giving him the position of the voice for those angry with the Treaty of Versailles. Hitler gave fuel to hype up the Nazi Party and spread propaganda that everyone besides Germany was an enemy. He drove the party to have a strong anti-Semitism belief, meaning that Jews were the reason for the troubles of Germany and should be gone. 1933. Hitler was sick and tired of the amount of hell Germany went through, and he decided to take back what was lost. The land the Treaty of Versailles took, the money Germany had to pay for reparations, and the humiliation that made Germany look like a fool. Hitler focused on Lebensraum, an ideology that expressed the expansion of Germany territory for living space and racially conquering that land. But to launch a conquering quest, he'll need to be a chancellor.
The president of Germany at the time was President Paul von Hindenburg, who appointed Hitler as chancellor. Hindenburg assumed that by giving Hitler his position, they were able to control his position of power. But Hitler was far out of reach from being controlled. His speeches were promising, his persuasion and his tone in his voice touched the hearts of people in Germany. Hitler was aware of his actions. He had good intentions for Germany, but the people he persuaded were desperate because of the Great Depression that has been going on since 1929. Crops weren't growing, mass unemployment, and banks were shutting down. The people of Germany was vulnerable. They wanted to get out of this hell-like earth and actually be proud of their country after World War I. This was Hitler's chance to smooth talk his way into becoming the most admirable face for Germany. Poland and Germany were already having problems with each other. Hitler tried multiple times to make an agreement with Poland by offering an allowance if Poland would give up the land that Poland gained and Germany lost in the Treaty of Versailles. The land was called Polish Corridor, and it was a strip of land that had access to the Baltic, causing the isolation of another piece of Germany's land called the Rhine. Hitler demanded to establish a highway through the corridor to access Danzig, but Poland refused because of the fear of losing their independence. Not only did they refuse to build a highway across the Polish corridor, but Hitler also offered another deal. If Poland and Germany became allies, Poland would have to go against the Soviet Union, and Poland refused. This made Hitler feel betrayed and set his last straw.
September 1st, 1939, 4:45 a.m. German battleships opened fire on the Polish military transit depot at Westerplatte near the city of Danzig. Not just in that area, but German forces attacked from East Prussia in the north of Poland, and near Slovakia in the south. The Nazis had a better military advantage. Their army was heavily funded and produced army vehicles, airplanes, and other military equipment. The difference is that these products are produced to have efficiency. The tanks move faster than any tank. The biggest help the Nazis had was their motorized infantry. Instead of the original warlike fighting style, marching side by side and for long distances, motorized infantry allowed protection to help move troops in large areas by hiding and staying on the side of these fast vehicles. Notice how Germany is oddly fast and quick with how they dealt with the war? They had a term called Blitzkrieg, meaning lightning war. It was a fast, aggressive style of warfare the Nazis used when invading Poland. Germany would then use their aircraft to bomb enemy airfields, railways, communications, bridges, troop stations, and anything that would give Poland a chance to be able to fight back when Germany attacked. The day rang terror. Poland troops are being killed at a rapid pace, in a corner, and have nowhere to run. Any support was unavailable. The unexpected attack threw all Polish officials, and now they don't have a plan to stop Nazi Germany. Poland had no chance at all. When the sun fell, the Nazis felt victorious, prideful, and hopeful to reach their desired goal of having a racially pure German empire, called the Third Reich.
This invasion would declare the start of World War II. Britain and France, who are allies of Poland, declared war on Germany on September 3rd, 1939. Their hope was no match and was clearly defeated by Nazi Germany. Britain and France were not militarily prepared to enter another war and were still recovering from World War I. Their initial responses to the war were ineffective and World War II as a phony war. Almost a year and a half later, the Nazis would start to push France to conquer on May 10, 1940. Hitler invaded France, and it was a 6-week battle between the two, and eventually Hitler won the war and took over the majority of Western Europe. With how quickly the conquest was, it showed how effective Blitzkrieg was for Nazis. He took over France, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg, Denmark, and Norway in the span of 6 weeks. Although Norway was a bit longer process to take over, but it was eventually ruled under the Nazis. The Nazis are feeling good. They feel they can run all of Europe. So, they decided to invade Britain. The Nazis used aircraft to invade Britain, and the Nazis were unaware of how advanced Britain was with their aircraft technology. Britain had planes like a Supermarine Spitfire and the Hawker Hurricane. They were really fast and easy to control and maneuverable and heavily armored and intended for rapid responses, as the Nazis are good at doing. And since this battle was fought on British soil, they had the advantage of shooting down many of the German planes. Shooting down 56 planes. This made Hitler furious, but he could do nothing about it and proposed to fighting with Britain since they knew it would be hard to keep fighting and lose more men and equipment, so it wasn't worth it.
Then on June 22nd, 1941, the Nazis would launch the biggest invasion in history. They would invade the Soviet Union. Hitler launched an aggressive blitzkrieg tactic on Russia and gained massive land territory. In perspective, he took as much land as Germany, France, Italy, and the United Kingdom combined. A good chunk of Russia was taken. As they kept pushing into deep Russian territory, a glimpse of Napoleon's life was in Hitler's eyes. All right, that didn't happen, but you know what I mean. Anyways, the cold Russian winters kept Germans at stalemate. The amount of land the German soldiers had to walk through and drive through was far too long for a normal soldier to withstand, making it hard for Germany to ship supplies for their people fighting in the war. The Germans underestimated the advantage Russian soldiers had and overall had to retreat, counting as another loss for Hitler. Other tragic events happened, such as the Holocaust, that many of you familiar with, Pearl Harbor in 1941, and D-Day in 1944. Those battles would eventually lead to the end of the German dynasty, the fall of Berlin, 1945. The Soviet Union rushed into Germany's capital, constantly bombing when Germany was weakened from the years of war. The Soviet Red Army pushed westward into Germany after defeating German troops on the Eastern Front. Millions of Soviet soldiers surrounded Berlin, and then there was nowhere left to run. Hitler was nowhere to be seen. He was in an underground bunker called the Friedrichshain Bunker that was underneath Berlin. He knew this was the end. He did not want to endure the pain. He has lost to the Soviet Union. He grabbed a pistol